Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Indie Spotlight Network. We're back here in the green room again, and today's guests are Will Brewster and Perry Ball. These two gentlemen have got some great things going on, and we're going to get into that real quick. Here we go. So, Will, how did you get started in acting?
Well, I mean, I was always a bit of a performer when I was a kid growing up. Did the occasional school play and everything, but as I got older, I thought I wanted to be more behind the camera. And so I went to school for a degree in film at Cape Fear in Wilmington. But even while I was doing that, I was appearing in student films more than I was working behind the camera as a writer, a director, an AD, or whatever. And it just kind of hit me. I think I'll stay on this side of the camera because I was just loving it and enjoying it. And now here I am doing it professionally.
Awesome. What about you, Perry?
I actually started as a little kid. And my first part was on Art Linkletter show, Kids Say the Darndest Things.
I remember that show.
I decided to look square in the lens and look that way and watch myself on the monitor, and I couldn't figure out how come I was looking the opposite direction. He says, "What could I do?" And I said, "Well, I can imitate a chicken." And I went, "Bawk, bawk, 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 bawk," you know, so, and they just laughed, and they of course featured that right on national TV. That was my very first part.
Oh, that's awesome.
Had a number of other childhood parts. By the time I got into high school, I was a thespian and did theater and arts and learned how to do film and that sort of thing. Then the beloved draft came, and I was drafted and went to the Army. And after I come back, I had another stage opportunity. I became a preacher and learned homiletics, which is really a great way to learn how to do stage acting. Did that, did a number of church theater things, and from time to time I would do background, that sort of thing throughout my adult life, and then I decided to retire. And when I retired, I sat at the house, and my wife says, "You need to get out of the house." So I saw some background parts, and I went out, did them, loved it, got reoriented to the new way the business is going. Of course, back when I was a child, they didn't have SAG-AFTRA, they had the mob, but today they just got SAG-AFTRA, and well, I kind of like doing indie pretty well. Did a lot of student films and that sort of thing. That's how I got started.
Perry, you've got something pretty big coming up right now, right?
A few things, yeah.
Yeah, tell us about it.
I am cast as Tim Morrison on the TV show Realm. We began filming on April 6th. And Tim Morrison is a husband, father, businessman. And the show is about, well, the backstory is Realm has, not being Realm, we were all in one universe at one point, and somehow things didn't do so well, so all the different kinds of beings were cast in different realms. Witches, vampires, werewolves, they all had their own realm. And somehow they ended up in our world. Sleepy Hollow meets Twilight. It's going to be a lot of fun. Anna is in that film. My wife is played by Brenda Moss Clifton. It's written by Kayla Lambert and produced by Leo Daniels. And we're really excited about it.
Oh, that's fantastic. That is fantastic. What about you, Will?
I've got a short called Plastic Badges coming out. It's a buddy comedy film about two very goofy guys who are trying to become police officers. One of them is a very introverted, very shy, doesn't party, takes his job way more seriously than he should. His name is Scott. The other is a guy named Brett. He's the party animal. He's the extrovert. He's very outgoing. I play the introvert, obviously. I've recently found I have been playing typecast as a lot of good guys, very good boy, nice boy kind of thing, and that's been fun. It's been my first lead role, so it's been an experience, and we're hoping to shop it around and make it into a web series.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And didn't you have something else that you had coming up as well?
I just finished a movie, a full feature, called Dormant, written and directed by Jay Burton.
Oh, wow.
And we filmed in Alabama, and I'm one of the lead characters. I play Bill Godsey, the chief of police. And we have a few spoilers here, but I'm not sure I can give them out all that much. But
Right.
it's kind of a spy thriller.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. Good stuff. Will, as far as getting into this industry,
Right.
what are you seeing as some of the challenges of what you're getting into?
Well, man, well, I mean, I think if you talk to anyone who as recently, like last year, started to become an actor, getting work is like pulling a tooth. So it's tough, but I think to overcome that, I definitely feel I am very driven, maybe to an aggressive extent. So, I mean, if you're passionate about it and if you're really driven about it, really want to do it, I know that's kind of a cliche, but it is what it is. I mean, you just keep going for it. So.
Where do you see your career going? Where do you want it to go?
Well, I know you, I wanted to get to maybe Lee Armstrong's level of just being a regularly working actor. I mean, if I become like Tom Cruise famous, bonus. Yeah, I really just want to get to a regularly working and studying regularly. I was thinking about this earlier. I was hoping to get it to a point where I can comfortably, definitively say that acting is my life right now. Like, sure, it's a spotty little this and that when you're starting out, but like, you know, if you're making money doing it and using that money to study doing it, then boom, life. That's how I'm trying to get to right now.
Fantastic. What about you, Perry? Where do you see your career wanting to go?
Well, I just like doing the work. It's like getting a canvas and getting a bunch of paint out and making pixels on it and coming out with a picture. I really don't see any future or past with it. I like the present.
I got you.
And it really makes me feel good when a role comes out and I've done some filming and I walk off the set and says, nailed it. It really does. However, I've also come up with a new love and passion. I've began writing scripts, and I'm working on a true life story and trying to fictionalize it a little bit about a social worker that's got a backstory of abuse and neglect and is now trying to save the world and has got assigned a case where a child was dropped on its head by a truck driver while being filmed.
Wow.
And the child killed. And then the social worker manages to rehabilitate the father and get the children reunited, and she ends up with some closure, and so does the family. So,
Oh, wow. That sounds really good.
I'm hoping to have that finished around October.
That'll be good.
I was just going to add,
Sure.
sorry, I was talking about earlier about how I was getting typecasted a lot as the good guy, regular guy. I was hoping that another step would be to play versatile parts. And also, Leah was talking about writing scripts and stuff like that. I've got my degree in film, so I was hoping to put that to use and also work some of the scripts I have behind the camera as well. So,
Fantastic. Now, Perry, somebody coming up, brand new in the industry, coming up to you and saying, how can I make it as an actor? What would be the advice you give?
Lighten up. One of the biggest mistakes people make is they're going to be a star instead of loving the work. Yeah, you can go out and be background, and I think I recommend background.
And when you say background, some people may not know what that means.
That's the parts where you're just furniture. You don't say anything, and but you have to move and do certain things in order to fill the background,
Right.
while the lead and starring people are doing all the talking. But doing background to me is a great way to learn terminology, marks, how cameras are run, get you familiar with the acting business.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't do that very long, 6 months, a year maybe. Once you start doing background and on a show, you've killed yourself for a leading role, because let's just say I do background on Sleepy Hollow. Now I'm typecast. They've got my face. A role pops up I'm right for. I'll never get the part because I've already been on camera.
Right.
And so background has its negatives as well as positives. It's a great place to learn, but you need to move on.
Mm-hmm.
And to move on, you need to get an agent. You need to start checking out acting sites like 800 Casting and so forth. Beyond that, you just have to get a lot of training. To get training is to take workshops and do student films, which gives you life experience with speaking roles.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good. What about you? If somebody came up to you and said, I want to get into the industry you're in, what would you tell them?
Make a plan, definitely, and be practical about it. Like, I'm starting out, so I've got my part-time job that serves as the bill payer, because you can only do so much with student stuff and independent stuff that doesn't pay. But like I was saying earlier, if you're passionate about it, if you're driven about it, keep going for it. But keep that part of your brain that operates realistically in the real world going, and just go for it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Good job, guys. Thank you very much for coming out today.
He's cool. That's why he's my favorite. You want this, don't you? Huh? Oh boy. Good job, buddy. Good job. This is Eli. This is, I've had this bird the longest. He is my favorite by far. He's 6 years old, and he's a Harris hawk. Harris hawks are found natively in the southwest deserts of North America, Texas, Arizona. And what's neat about Harris hawks is they form bonds because by nature they're social birds. In nature they live in family groups and hunt together and raise each other's babies and things like that. So Eli and I have formed one of those bonds because I'm his family. This is Cochise. This is a peregrine falcon. It's a male. He's going to rouse for you. He's going to fluff up and shake off real good, so he's pretty for the camera, I guess. He's a year old, just a youngster still. Fastest animal on the planet. The peregrine falcon has been clocked at like 240 miles an hour, so incredible speed. He hunts birds. Little guy like this hunts mainly like doves, starlings and stuff like that. Small ducks, pigeons. This is Peyton. She's a 3-year-old red-tailed hawk. She's just been a great bird. She's come right out of the gate her first year hunting well, and I've held on to her because she is so good. She's very well behaved as far as letting me mess with her and things like that, which is a quality that you look for in a bird. You don't want to reach up here and have one stick talons through your hand, so it's kind of a nice thing to have one that'll let you mess with her. And she's a fabulous hunter. She's really good.
When you think of falcons, you think of a wild bird, and when you think of hunting with falcons, you think of Arabs riding across the desert with the falcon on it, and kings and with their hunting preserves.
Sure.
But it's all historical. But we've found out that this is modern. I mean, you're doing this. You're spending a lot of your time doing this.
Yes.
How'd you get started?
I actually owned an exotic pet store, and I had everything from monkeys and lions to exotic birds and dogs and cats. And had a gentleman come in one day to buy some mice, and just because it was something that happened on a daily occasion, I asked him, well, what kind of snake are you feeding?
Right.
And he told me he was feeding a red-tailed hawk. So I said, really? He said, yeah, he's in the truck. Would you like to see him? And I said, of course. You know, I mean, I had all these other animals, which have always been of great interest to me, and you know, a big part of my life since I was a child. So we went to the back of his truck, and he pulls out a red-tailed hawk. And throughout the conversation and finding out what he did with the hawk, he invited me to go down the street to hunt with him, and the rest was history.
You were hooked.
I was hooked. Being able to actually experience a wild hunt with a wild animal and participate in that hunt was something that it was a feeling that you can't hardly describe.
Get my vest. It should be in the vest. In the back, in the pickup part.
These two are the ones that you gave me. Here's the antenna.
Is there one of them?
I don't need that antenna.
You said the antenna too.
No, I didn't mean to. If I did, sorry.
You could.
Yeah, that's a great idea, Will.
Jeez, Will, come prepared, dude. Jeez.
I didn't come to prepare.
Okay.
Yeah, he's on TV right now.
Don't matter. Austin, hand me that glove.
Acting like ourselves.
No, you didn't.
And then he was hovering?
Yeah. So cool.
He told about it.
I think it's so cool.
Yeah,
I wish I
it
had
is
video of it. Jackson.
Let's go, buddy. Harrison, be still, buddy. Hop, hop. Hip, hip. Hip, hip. Is he gonna go? Did he turn?
Yeah, he's
Hip, hip.
I got this.
Don't run into the tractor, for God's sake.
I got this.
Good boy. Let's go. And we're just going to wait for him to get some height. Pip, pip. Come on into the wind, buddy. Climb, 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 climb. Don't do that. Climb, climb, climb.
Hovering pad.
Dropping altitude. I need him to get on up there a little ways. Had a boy. Had a boy. Now we're going. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Owen's ready. He's following.
We'll just give him a second. Let's see if he'll get up any higher. Ho, buddy, ho! And then he'll get more to eat once we get home. That's just his reward for doing what he's supposed to do. He went up nice and high. If we'd waited, he might have gone on up a little higher, but time constraints and the sun going down, we wanted to go ahead and do it. But he was still climbing as when we flushed or let the pigeon go. So that's telling him he was doing what he was supposed to do, which was get height. And then he hit the pigeon. He gets a nice fat little meal right here at the kill site, and then he'll get fed up pretty good when we get home. Ow, 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 ow. When it all comes down to it, everything is pretty much being done the same as it was 4,000 years ago when the sport began. And I don't think there's anything else, any other sport or any other hunting activity that can say that. 4,000 years later, we're still doing it the same as we did way back then. And it's and the birds, pretty much, besides species, have not really changed. They're still train them basically the same way. Yeah, there's something to be said to be able to practice a sport that's that old, Stay right there, and I'll get him to come right over top of you. Let's go, buddy.
Gorgeous.
Did you get all that?
I mean, you don't just go down to the pet store and buy a falcon.
Absolutely not.
And you're probably not allowed to either.
Oh, no.
Okay.
The birds are federally regulated along with the state. So so getting into them or actually possessing one of these birds requires a great deal of work on the person's part who's wishing to get into this. You have to serve a 2-year apprenticeship.
Here. Fourth word. Okay. Time. Watch. Okay, watch. A long time. Loose time. Stretchy loose time.
This summer.
Here and forever.
Infinity.
From here to eternity.
Forget everything you thought you knew about charades.
Somebody told me the French made it up hundreds of years ago. But I always thought my dad invented it just for me.
Novel. 2 words.
What's that, Russ?
Ulysses.
How do you expect to be able to charade it unless you've read it?
He taught me everything I knew about the game. He was good. Some say he was too good.
Papa, who did this? Sounds like what? 2 words?
In a world where nothing is what it seems, comes an extraordinary tale.
You're not from around here, are you?
You know where I can pick up a game of charades in this town?
You play?
Of a game where nothing is what it appears to be.
Who's your boyfriend?
You are?
I'm not here to charade, I'm here to find somebody.
Lucy tells me you're quite something of a charades player. How about you come charade for me? What do we say?
Let me introduce you to your new personal guessing squadron.
Tex Pantelope, film historian.
Leonarda W. Gideon, assistant professor of English literature.
Herman Scobie. I have an extensive background in song guessing.
I haven't read a book or gone to a cinema in 20 years. All that matters is the charade. Nothing else. Everybody knows you're the best. So what? You have one poor little match.
You don't know what he's capable of.
I won't do it. I need information about a murder.
Why don't you just talk to me?
Pull the trigger.
What does it matter? told you, like I told your father, the only thing that matters is the charade. The only thing.
The Big Charade. Coming soon.
And once again, if you want to find out more about these guys, that you can go to our website, IndieSpotlightNetwork.com. Find out more about them, and we'll see you next time. Have a good day.